Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank my supporters over at patreon.com/bsmpod for continuing to support me and what I'm doing. Let me double check to make sure I'm recording. Okay. So I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in, not just the patron supporters, but for everybody, whether you're watching or listening. But it's a real shame you're not watching today because we have not only Conduit Gaming's very own, HeartSwat TV's very own Salt with us. We also have what I like to now officially put out there as SS Shirtless Salt. This is a look, it's a vibe. Also, your newest champion of TMT East Coast, TMT number 72, in fact, going on a tremendous losers run, tearing through all kinds of matchups until getting, when we're going to talk about this bracket, by the way, but getting a fat reverse 3-0 in set one of Grands and then finishing it off 3-1 against Bobby Big Balls. Salt, you have lit the world on fire this year for Melee in your own right. One of the hottest up-and-coming gamers, if you will. But first of all, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Come on. I appreciate it.
Yes, and also Salt is eating food because this bracket was won off of 2 Hot Pockets, no caffeine. What a massive, massive run off of very minimal food. Almost pulling a Hungry Box. Do you remember when he fainted on stream? He later came back and he said, you know what? I haven't really eaten anything all day.
That's actually almost happened to me a lot of times that I popped off when I beat somebody. I have to chill out. I tell my stream like I'm about to pass out because I yelled. Today I didn't have the energy to pop off like I normally do, but in the past, oh my god, I yelled so hard I almost just passed out on my stream.
Yeah, you were
Couple
telling
of
the
times.
stream. You were telling the stream because I was tuning in for most of top 8 there. You were telling the stream after the grand finals was over. All of a sudden you just have a massive headache because like it's all finally starting to crash down a little bit. The adrenaline's starting to wear off a little bit, and you're just like, oh my head. And that totally makes sense. Like now that the nerves are finally starting to wear off, you're thinking, oh, I won. I actually won. I'm sure it's
And
all
this thing
kinds
did
of.
not help me. This thing
Oh,
did not. It helps me, but it did not help me this time. If you use this too much and you're not eating, you have to drink water with it. It'll give you a headache. It dehydrates you.
all
My
good on the technical issues front. See, the people who are listening don't even know. They're picturing you eating food shirtless, and they have to use their imaginations. So they didn't even know. They didn't even know it happened. So, first of all, let me congratulate you on that, and also the year that you've been having so far. I mean, you've placed really, really well at tournaments. This is probably one of your bigger wins, though. I don't want to under I don't want to undervalue a tournament like the one that you went to the other night, where it's about a 17 person or so bracket. Let's see. You went down to losers briefly for some reason after you lost to Haunter, who I want to guess you played a secondary against, but you can fill me in. After winning losers final against Cole, you went back up to Grands and won versus Haunter. That was the other night at your local. What happened there?
It's a bad story, but I ran into Hunter on unranked because I mean I like him. He's a cool dude, but I know online he's a little bit of a just say a meanie. He's mean, and so we played a best of 5 on my stream on unranked, and he just was camping me like he normally does as Puff because he sits there and he back airs and back airs and back airs, and I know he beats people by capitalizing off of either impatience or what's the word frustration. So we're just playing unranked and I just want to fight him, but he's just there back airing like a fiend, and I ended up losing, and then he taunted me, said GG's and left. So I was like, okay, so next time we play, I'm just gonna play Puff against you and I'm gonna do it right back to you. And then I played Puff for 2 games. I lost both. The first game we went to timeout and it was last stock each, and then I lost the timeout battle. And then game 2, I lost the timeout battle because I got bored. I went for a random rest and just got up smashed. And then game 2, I went to Dreamland, and after I lost my first stock, I knew it was a mistake. So I got really bored again and just started going for random rest again. And then I lost that. And then I didn't want to do a reverse 3-0, so I went Samus, and then I lost that match. And then I was just like, I'll just fight him again in Grands whenever I get there. And then I ended up just winning.
But what about the Pocket Roy? Because while you were waiting for Losers Bracket to catch up tonight, you were playing a little bit of Roy there and seeing some nice little movements, some nice punishes, a nice little creative down B counter edge guard against the Fox on Dreamland, as I recall correctly. So why didn't you pull that out? What? Wait, would you say your Samus is better than your Roy? That's probably what I should ask.
At this point, I don't even know. I really don't. Because I ran into money on unranked, and he beat my Marth at Riptide, but then he got mixed up by my Roy on unranked like 2 nights ago, so I have no idea anymore. I think my Roy might be better than my Samus. It just might be. I might try that. I might try it. The next local I go to, where he's there, I might just try it. Honestly.
Because it depends on the skill level of the player. This sounds like someone who says, maybe I can interact as little as possible and still win with Puff if camping is indeed the strategy that Haunter wants to go for. Might not be ready for the reverse up Bs of a Roy because you can catch a Puff off guard and get some cheese. You can cheese some kills that way.
Mm-hmm. He's very uninteractive. A lot of Texas Puffs are like that. This meat is really tough. It's hard to.
No worries.
But he's very uninteractive, and the thing is, I won't dislike a person outside the game, but I will dislike a way that a person plays the game. We have 4 Puffs in Texas. We have Papa, SDJ, Haunter, and Pops. I despise playing against SDJ, Haunter, and Pops. I love playing against Papa. Because Papa interacts. He'll fight me. He's a rest monkey. He's crazy. And clearly by far the best pup in Texas. And he doesn't play on interactive, so it's like you're playing the character wrong. In my eyes. And like him and Dawson are like the same, I feel. The Dawson's a little bit more, I don't even know how to describe it. He's just a beast. He's just a beast. They're both beasts. And they both interact as opposed to those 3. No, they don't have the results that they have. So,
How are the ribs treating you tonight so far?
They're good. They're good. Homemade ribs.
Oh, homemade. Now I'm getting even
And my
more.
dad is a great cook. My dad's an amazing cook.
Shout outs. Shout outs to. Okay, speaking of, that's another thing we should probably talk about a little bit. So, the BSM March Madness, the bracket, I should say, right. I tagged a bunch of different people. You were one of them. I thought of you because I think it was in particular because I was hearing your name a lot around the time of the BEMI 2022, the Black Empowerment Melee Invitational. And then I thought afterwards it would be cool to talk to, well, any of the people who showed up and competed. I've talked to Brandon before, but obviously a very busy person. So I thought, okay, well, I should probably try to talk to one of these guys instead. And I don't know. I thought of you just, I don't know if randomly is the right word, but when I was thinking of who do I want to put onto this bracket, I thought of you. I put you on. And that ended up leading to being tagged. You had tagged the BSM pod account, which everybody should go on Twitter and follow, by the way. You tagged that account as your father and married to, oh, you know what? I can't remember off the top of my head anymore, but I think it might have been something like FlyQuest or something. And then right,
my
and
mom and dad, it was the BSM pod and FlyQuest, and then my spouse was CG. No. It was, I think it was Jaw Dropper. He's one of my Twitch chatters. He comes in all the time.
Let's go.
And then my children were CG, and then a random person named Sahara, not the desert.
I thought for sure that you had put that up by accident or that you signed up and gave away your permission to, like, you said to the app, you can post this on my Twitter when we're done, by the way. Like, I remember the ye old days of Facebook 10 years ago. If you wanted to take a quiz or find out who does what on your timeline, I don't even know if we called it a timeline. It might have just been home feed back then, but you would accidentally tell these Facebook associated apps to accidentally, oh, you can post this onto my wall when we're done. When you give me the results, you can also automatically post it to my wall. I have fallen for that more times than I care to admit. So I thought that's what happened. And you messaged me back. You're like, no, Dad, you're my dad. But
That
instead,
was
you
all
have an
person.
even cooler, real, actual father who makes homemade ribs. I'm so jealous. Good for
Hmm.
you. Good for you.
Makes homemade ribs, curry chicken, bacalao. He's from Jamaica. He makes a lot of ethnic food. He's just really, I don't know why, but he's just a really good cook. I have no idea why.
That's something
Unhealthy
that
though.
that is something that
Unhealthy.
ever inspired you to try to get into the cooking game yourself, or do you just go, well, my dad's kind of the person who does that, and I like food that's made for me, so we take those. I mean, where do you think you fall on that?
See, like, honest to God, I do enjoy cooking. I know how to make some stuff. Like, I can make burgers, I can make tacos, I can make spaghetti, eggs, bacon, um, sandwiches. But that's not cooking though. And I also know how to what's the word? Like de-shell a lobster because I've watched a bunch of Gordon Ramsay, but I've never done it. I just know I can do it because I've seen so much of it. And like I really want to like start cooking, but it's like I would rather play Melee. I'm not even kidding. There's a lot of things I would want to do, but I would just rather play Melee.
I mean, hey, that's the beautiful thing. That's part of the reason why we're here. And I love talking about Melee, of course. This is a Melee podcast, but we're getting to know each other a little bit here. You're eating homemade ribs, and so I'm just like, wait, hold on, pause. I need to hear more about this. So forgive me for asking. Last question related to food, and then I will try to move on. Podcast listeners, I promise. Have you ever had a crab feast before?
What's a crab feast?
Okay, so basically the idea is you get a bunch of crabs. Now, I live near Maryland. I live in Pennsylvania, just above Maryland. And what Maryland is known for, literally, this happened at Pound 2019 when somebody threw a crab at Hungry Box after he beat Mango. But basically, they're known for their crabs and for, oh, what's it called? Something Old Bay spice, that kind of thing. And you just get however many crabs you want. You get the homies together and you eat crabs. I'm not kidding, for at least 3 hours, if not 5 hours, like well into the night, got beers or whatever else, because it takes so long to eat crab. You can just spend 30 minutes eating one crab and you're still hungry, obviously. So you can eat four, five, six crabs in like 3 hours, and you just keep going and going and going because you never get like full, that kind of thing. So it's a really big social thing. I haven't done it in a really, really long time, and probably only, to be honest, maybe like 4 or 5 times in my life. But that's what a crab feast is in a nutshell.
I would love to have a crab feast. I would that sounds like something I really want to do. Here in Texas we have I know in Texas and Louisiana we have a crawfish boil. So I guess that might be the equivalent. We get like a shitload of crawfish and we toss it into a pot and then you stir it up with some corn. Um what is it like a gumbo sauce or something? You let it cook and then you just sit there and you're just eating so many crawfish. So I guess it's kind of the same thing except with crab, which
Hmm.
I would much prefer to eat crab than crawfish.
It makes me feel bad every now and again. I mean, thinking about it right now, I think to myself, when I want to get food, most of the time I want it to be a burger, and I'll eat it within 10 seconds. It'll just be sliding down my esophagus into my belly, and then I'm a happy person. And food was not always meant to be eaten that quickly. Sometimes it take maybe a little bit longer, but I'm such an impatient eater. So that's why I haven't done craft feast a whole lot. That and also Maryland, you have to do it proper in Maryland. But okay, okay. Let me try to get to this bracket. So today, you're the first seed for TMT East Coast, and of course, being the first seed. I don't know how many times you've been first seed for TNT on either West Coast or East Coast, but I can imagine it's been only a few times, or maybe this was the first time. You lose in winter semis to Kem, Fox player out in the Philly area. So shout outs to Philly. But that was sort of the moment where it's going to be, oh wait, hold on, everything's kind of thrown off. What were your thoughts after the winter semis, that versus Kem?
It was damn, and I want my run back. Anytime I lose to anybody, I want to run back. And my objective at that point is to try and fight all the demons that are going on in bracket and inside of my head and get back to that person and then absolutely destroy them. And then if I win, great. If I lose, okay. I made it all the way back though. That's how that was my thoughts. I have weird thoughts when I play melee. I don't
I
always
mean,
I vocalize them sometimes, but for the most part I keep it inside.
okay, so you don't have to talk about every single thing that comes to your mind when you're playing in a melee tournament, and especially one online. I imagine that there's a big difference to you between playing online versus playing in person, and you are obviously like all the other big online era, Slippy rollback era players who have come out of the woodworks in some capacity, and everybody who's national says, "Oh wow, I've never heard of that player before. I'm sure they must have gotten started pretty recently because I've never heard of them before." But not everybody can be a melee stats nerd. Even people like Edwin Budding, shout outs to Edwin Budding and the rest of the melee stats collective, even them get will occasionally get caught by surprise by certain players that they've seen, good results for in a very small amount of data. But then if that person is able to play in a big bracket, they kind of pop off. So people like Logan, people like Ben, yourself, Aklo, where before people might have said in the area where that player is known, oh, they go to our local all the time and they destroy everybody, hidden boss, that kind of thing. But you've been playing longer than the typical, oh, they must have just started playing. No, Salt, you've been playing for such a long time. When did you first start playing Melee?
So on the Wikipedia, it's wrong. It does say I started in 2016.
SF. Come on.
I
Another shout out.
actually I went to my first tournament slash local. I'm not Yeah, I went to my first local 2015 or late 2014. I had a group of friends that so I had a best friend that I knew since elementary school, and so we used to play a lot of games. I don't talk to him anymore, but we used to play games all the time, and he told me about how you can play Brawl like Melee, and it's so much quicker and it's cooler because you got all these other characters, and like Mario is sick and Pikachu's sick and all this other stuff. And so that was my freshman year in high school. And so I started out with PM in 2014. And I played that for like maybe a couple of months. I always had a disc of of Melee, but it like didn't work. Like it would, whenever you put it in and it goes, cannot read the disc and all that. Like I
Damn.
can get a game in and then it would do that. So I had to take it out, clean it, put it back, play another game, take it out, clean it. So I was like, okay, I'll just practice on PM. And I practiced on that TV actually. That TV with shit. I don't have the controller anymore, but it was like a GameStop controller and the C stick, like this thing. I had to always push it in so I could use it properly. If not, I had to like no, I had to pull it out. I had to pull it out. If it was all the way in, I couldn't dash or anything. I was down bad when I was trying to actually learn the game. But and then eventually I got this one, and this is a piece of shit controller too. But actually it's pretty good. It's a piece of shit, but it's pretty good. And so yeah, I started out in 2014 with PM as um the thing is I didn't want to play the same characters that my friends played, so one of them played Mario, the other one played Fox, and the other one played Falco. So I tried Wolf for a little bit, and then I played Pikachu, and then I played Roy. And then my friend told me about how you could do moonwalks really easily with Falcon. And then I learned how to moonwalk, and that's why I started playing Falcon. I swear to God. It was because I could moonwalk. It wasn't because he was a good character. It was just because he could moonwalk, and I thought he was a hype character. So yeah, and then I went to my first look. I practiced for about a year in my room with my friends on this TV. I practiced my movement, um, a little bit of punish game on computers, and then I went to my first local. And there's still a lot of that actually. It was me. It was me versus an old Houston player. It was SJKF. He was a Falco player. That was my first ever set on stream, and I look like such a baby. Actually insane.
If that was around your freshman or sophomore year, then yeah, I would imagine now you just go back and you go, ah, so much to learn. Moving so
Movement wasn't
bad.
actually that bad. I
Oh,
watched it back. It's not even that bad. I played Pink Falcon, and I kind of knew what I was doing.
oh,
The only thing
word.
I fucked up on was I could not jump cancel grab. That was the only thing I
Oh,
could do.
yep, yep. I
I
don't.
took a stock and popped off. It was
So
crazy.
wait, hold on. So this is melee that you were able to play Pink Falcon pop off a little bit with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a that this was not a PM bracket, right?
No, it wasn't a PM bracket. It was a.
It was
I
melee.
went there. I did go to a PM tournament, but I've only been to like two or three. I went to a melee tournament, but I had practiced on PM, which is the weird part. I practiced PM so that I could play melee.
Well, I guess a lot of things translate over, but that was going to be my question. I've never played PM enough to know better, and it's been such a long time. Was there a jump cancel grab in that game, or was it just another
Yeah.
shortcut?
PM was it's literally just melee modded onto brawl. So everything is the exact same. The only thing that I can think of that's different is that you can do like you can dash, and in the middle of your dash, if you put the C stick in the opposite, not the C stick, the control stick in the opposite direction, and then you jump, it like I think it does an auto turnaround from
Yeah.
what I remember. It's been years, but it does like an auto turnaround backwards. So you could just run at someone with Falcon, and it just it's and then to moonwalk, you just hold the A button, you do a moonwalk, and then you flick the C stick. That's like the only difference. And then you could turn off tap jump. So everything else was the same on that game for the
Interesting.
most
Yeah,
part.
I've watched enough Junebug videos that at some point Junebug, like in passing, says something to the effect of PM is not exactly one to one the same as melee in terms of all the deep mechanics. And part of that is there's just so many mechanics to be aware of. As you started to get better and you're going through high school, all of that, and you're starting to take names, you're starting to move up a little bit. As do you think of yourself as a student of the game, or are you just playing so much and practicing so much that everything is just coming up to snuff, even if it's at a subconscious level for you? Like, would you consider yourself more of an analytical player or just play by feel? Not to break it down too hard.
Oh, 100% feel. 100% feel. I've I've never been one to study to understand something. Like, how can I describe it? So like equating it to my soccer career that I had for a little bit, not playing professionally, but throughout high school, college, and academies and all that. Whenever we would watch films, I never paid attention. Like I would look, I would act like I'm paying attention, but I would just kind of stare at the screen, like because I'm a mouth breather. So whenever I'm like quote unquote focusing, I just kind of stare at the screen. And so I'm doing that, and they're asking me questions like, oh, yeah, yeah, you do that, okay, oh, okay, don't, whatever. So I completely disregarded everything that was talked about, what I should do, and I played the game and saw exactly what was happening. So I've always been someone that just goes off of instinct and feel on what, like I can't tell you what percent up throw knee kills Fox on no DI. I can't tell you. On Falco, I can't tell you. I can't tell you what percent you could down throw knee a Sheik or a Marth. It's just kind of like he's bouncing a certain way. Okay, I know I can kill him. I don't know the percents. I completely go off of feel on the game, and I try to play my opponent more so than the actual character itself.
So when Squid's laugh, by the way, there was a squid in your chat tonight, so shout out to that person. But when Squid and Blur on the mic tonight were talking about your neutral, this, that, and the third, I don't know. I was only paying half attention to that. I was trying to watch you play. But it did seem to me as if, like you say, you're playing more of the player themselves, and that your neutrals seem to be much more thought out. Well, not again, thought out might not be the right way to describe it, but I talked to people, most recently Squid the Cat, who talks about neutral as if it's this mysterious thing that he can't quite nail down and understand. He loves the punish part of the game, and that's sort of what he feels like his strength is, what he can focus on the best. And so it's not like it's a whole thing of neutral sucks or anything like that, but that's what would he consider to be his strength. Whereas for you, I feel like you're the way that you can set yourself up to be in a good spot to punish overshoots, undershoots, and to know where your distance is ideal. The way that you play in the middle of the stage a lot, like you value stage positioning a lot more than some other Falcons, I feel like, or just other players in general, really seems to be because you are trying to watch what the other player is doing. If I'm here, what are they doing? And then you have the data in your head to make a read and to react to what they're doing.
So neutral was a concept I didn't understand for a very long time. It is a very it's complicated, but at the same time extremely simple. And shout outs to my coach Rascal. He isn't as good as me at this game, but I feel like he's one of the more smarter people in the scene. Or I guess that's the word, smarter, more intelligent people. He understands the game. And so there was one day, and this is whenever I actually just started beating people. It was I'm not joking. It was the day that we talked about. I was in college in my dorm and we were just talking and then we ran some drills. And essentially he calls it grid theory. And it's kind of like PPMD's bubble theory, right? Where you're marked and you're swinging and keeping them out. But there's a grid. So you imagine battlefield, right? So this is a battlefield, and then you have platform and then platform. This right here is the center stage. If you have center stage, you have the high ground because you have. Let's say you're fighting. Let's say you're fighting a fox, right? And you're here. You're in this area, but they're over here on the outside. What space do they have to move besides forward and towards the ledge? They have no space. What space do I have? I have all of this. So then comes in the mix up game where it's, am I going to sit here and wall you out? Am I going to sit here and approach you? Or am I going to sit, or am I going to run back, watch you come in and stop you? So fake letting you have this space. And center stage in my head also expands past center stage. So if Fox is here and you're here, so this is the platform. If I'm here and Fox is here, and then I do this, now this area is center stage because I'm just extending it. If he goes to platform and I go to platform, center stage now gets morphed into there. And if you watch, like, the greatest example that I can give is if you watch Mango and Zane play. They literally play like that. If you Whenever Zane is on Mango's ass and he's punishing him, he's really just keeping him outside of the center. So he goes up here, stuffs him. Center stage just keeps on getting moved and morphed everywhere. Whenever Mango does it, it's the exact same thing. Where Zane is trying to get back, and Zane is on platform here, and he's here, he's back airing right here to cover this space. And there's a full hop back air, or does an up tilt to cover him coming down. And it's all a mix up game. So if you playing the neutral is literally, to me, it's holding center stage and looking at what your opponent does to regain control back in some sort of sense. So my whole game plan for usually everybody is, I want to see what you do, and I'm going to stop you from wanting to do what you want to do, and I'll find the appropriate mix-ups to stop you from wanting to do that, because I already know what you're going to do. And it takes me about a stock or two to be like, okay, this is what they want. So like every first stock, if you watch every single one of my sets, I go 8 mode and just run at the person and just start doing this, smacking them, trying to hit them, right? But if they hit me, then I'm like, oh, okay. But I do that so I can get data. So if I come at you really quickly, how do you react? And then I'll tone it back, and I'm like, okay, so now I'm defensive. So what do you do now? And then I'll mix up between the two as I play throughout the set, and I'll just make a decision accordingly to what they do. You just have to learn how to play the game because so many people don't know how to play the game. The top players, I feel like, actually implement that idea and they understand how to really play the game. Because a lot of people are just like Squid the Cat said, he doesn't understand neutral, but he loves punish game. He's just a ball of punish game. He has no stage positioning. He's just kind of all over the place. He gets a hit and it just goes beast mode on them. It does all the ledge cancel, raptor boost stuff. But what happens after he's not in the punish? He gets opened up because he has no idea how to play the game from that standpoint. And that's not an insult. That sounds like an insult, but um, you just have to learn that. You just have to learn that with your character, and it can be applied to any character.
Mm.
Like I think Fox executes it the best. That's why he's. I still say Falcon's the best character in the game, but Fox by far probably has the best neutral in the whole game.
Well, having a projectile helps neutral, right? I mean, if Falcon could actually get out that pistol or gun or whatever he has on his holster, that'd be kind of nice. Just Falcon with the projectile. It just sounds so. Sorry, Gumball. If you're listening, I'm sorry to make the Falcon narrative harder into your nightmares and everything else, but anyway, I love the fact that you have a lot of faith in Falcon as a character that you stick with, because if you were kind of bouncing around's the wrong word. We all kind of try different characters, especially when beginning the player journey, but would you say that it's pretty consistently in, the past several years, Falcon and occasionally playing other characters in friendlies and on unranked, but Falcon for tournaments, and that's you?
Absolutely not.
Oh, word.
Absolutely not.
Oh, word.
There was a period of around 3 to 6 months where I made Fox because I got so mad at Falcon. I've had so many. Let me just say, I've had such character dysphoria for such a long time, and like if you go to my Wikipedia, it literally says I'm a quad main, which is insane. It says Falcon's my main, and then it says Fox. No, it says Falco, Fox, Marth, and I'm like, why? But the reasoning is because I played so many characters because I lost a lot of faith in Falcon for so many like. Imagine trying to be a new player and try to beat these Falcos. It's impossible. You can't do it. It's actually impossible because they just sit there and shoot you like it's Call of Duty, and you can't get to them, and then they have an easy combo game, and you're new, so you don't really have a good punish game. You don't understand the neutral that well, so it's really hard. So like there was a period where I was a true, I would call myself a true tri main where I main Falcon, right? But if I played against Falcos, there was two things either happening. Either I'm playing Fox or I'm going to wobble you with ICs. If you are a Sheik,
Whoa.
if you were a Sheik, I'm going to wobble you. If you were an ICs, I'm going to wobble you.
Oh my gosh.
It's so I went through that period. There's a VOD of me too playing against Spencer 669. He was an old Houston play. Well, he's from back then. He mains Fox now. I don't know if he still plays, but he was wobbling me, and I almost reverse 3 0'd him. And at some point during the set, I wobbled him, but I put the controller. I did it like this. Let me get another controller. Let me nose on that. Let me get this one, the poopy controller. So there's a VOD of me wobbling, and then I slowly put the controller up like this, and I go.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually really good at wobbling. It's actually insane. And I wobbled him to 300% every time.
Let him know.
And then for a while too, I tried to pick up Marth and Sheik as well. I don't know why I decided to pick up Sheik. I think it was for Marth, but I didn't play much Sheik, but I played a lot more Marth. And that was because I don't know. I just really liked Marth. So I just wanted to play him. And also there was a player, I don't know if you know about Poppy. You know who Poppy is?
Uh, Fox player.
Fox Falco player.
Okay.
So whenever Slippy started, oh my god. I if there's any Falco on this planet that knows how to beat me, it is him. He is the hard. You think Bobby is hard? You think Bobby is hard for me? Bobby is like he's hard, but trying to play against Poppy with Falco, with Falcon against his Falco is like a nightmare. It's like it's like I am going to lose if I don't 0 to death from every time I touch him because he understands me. We've played each other for like what the past 5 years at our locals, so he knows me. And
Mm.
so because of that, I tried out so many characters. I've taken sets off of him with my Falcon, of course, but with Fox, with Falco, with Marth, and Sheik. Yes, I've done it with those 5 characters. And mind you, if you don't know much about Poppy, he has taken sets off of Bobby. I think he took a set off of Ginger. He took a set off of Hacks. Took a set off of many top 100 players. The guy is really good at it. It was like me and him were the golden boys of our city. So we were the ones that were gonna go far within our city, and I just could not beat him with Falcon consistently. So I'm just switching throughout characters, and like at Riptide was the last time I told myself I'm never gonna switch characters in tournament again unless I'm just trying to troll or something. I played my money and I lost with my Riptide with my Marth game 3. And I was just like, I am the stupidest person alive because I flew all the way out to Ohio, paid this amount of money just to go Marth and lose. I was like, what is wrong with me? I have a Falcon. Why don't I just learn how to play against him with Falcon? But even then, my Spaceys, I've played them. I sometimes would play them against other, hard people. That there was a run where I reverse 3-0'd, what was it, Unsure into Skurzo. So I reversed 3-0'd Unsure. I went down 2-0 with Falcon. I switched to Falco and then reverse 3-0'd him. And then I 3-0'd Skurzo with Falco. And then I think I played Bobby, and I've almost beaten Bobby a couple of times. I took him to game 5, almost reversed 3-0'd him with Falco. I beat Squid, like the commentator, with Falco when I first played him. My Falco actually low-key has some good wins for no reason. It shouldn't honestly have any of these wins, but it does. Same thing with my Fox. There was a Bristlehood brawl where I got DQ'd into losers early, and I played 12 sets. Half of those were Fox and Dittos. Or no, did I play 12? I think I played 10. 6 of those were Fox and Dittos. 2 Sheiks. It was Prof and J-Salt. I lost to J-Salt and Grands. And I think a Martha or Falco. I can't remember. But and the only reason why I keep on switching to is because I just love Melee. So I sit here and I think to myself, why would I limit myself to just one art piece when I have crayons, I have paint, I have Legos, and I have pencils, colored pencils. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna want to use crayons the rest of my life, or the rest of my Smash career. I want to use colored pencils sometimes, Falco. Sometimes I want to use a regular pencil, Marth, and sometimes I want to use paint, Falco, or Sheik. You know, to me the
I
game is
am
like
so
art.
excited to see you at Battle of BC4, and you go down 2-0 against somebody, and I go, oh no, what character are we switching to?
People have that fear, but now I just stick to Falcon. I like it.
But you'll say to yourself, I've never played Falco in Canada before.
Yeah, that might happen. I have a bad rep for just doing stupid shit at these tournaments. I drowned in pools at LTC because my friend told me, he's like, dude, go up there and do some sick shit. And I was like, all right, bet. So I go up there, and so I have so much to say. There's a lot of stories. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No. That's
But
exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Please tell me what happened at this is Low Tide City last year?
I gotta give you the precursor. It's
Okay.
CCC, okay? Houston versus Dallas. It was me versus Burr. I was an up and coming Houston player, and Burr was an up and coming Dallas player. And Dallas just kept on talking shit the whole time. So during the course of that set, every time I killed Burr, I sat there and said, "Show me your move," and I taunted.
Mm.
Comes game three, because it was that early in bracket, but everyone was so hyped because it was Dallas versus Houston, and everyone was going crazy. And game three happens, and what I can tell you what happens. The transformation on Pokemon happens. It starts the mountain one. He goes to the bottom of the mountain. I go down and I stomp him, reverse knee him, taunt, go back to the other side of the stage. You know how Falcon or any character can run in that little like dip
Mm.
on a Pokemon on the mountain transformation? So I did that. I ran. He came down from Angel platform. I do a roll, and then I did down throw knee, came back to stage knee, and then taunted him. So I hit him 4 fucking times, and then everyone was going and then everyone's going crazy, and then I end up losing my second last stock, and now it's last stock game three. Tensions are running high, and I got this. So I think I got a down throw gentleman into a reverse knee that sends him on the complete other side of the stage. I run over, he side B's into my arms, and I grabbed
Oh.
him. I grabbed
Oh.
him, I did the down throw, and then I kneed him, and then it was beast mode, and that was my best moment that I've had in Smash since that day, like or at that time. That was like one thing I'm never gonna forget because it was just I actually still have the pictures of it, and you can see people in the crowd. There's like still pictures like they're like that. It was so much. It was so beast. That's just all I gotta say about it. So then LTC comes. My friend tells me to do some sick shit. It's game three, last stock. I get a stomp at 70. All I gotta do is knee, right? That's all I gotta do. I did a double stomp. He landed on the platform on Dreamland. And then I hit him with like a back air or something, like a weak back air or whatever, and he goes off stage. He side B's into my arms. I grab him. I down throw him. I drop zone knee, miss, and then drowning pools.
Oh.
And I had just beat Army in a fucking money match when wobbling was happening at the time. So I was sitting there laughing, and then I like sat down on the chair outside the venue, and I got so pissed. I called my mom. I was like, "Mom, I'm such a dumbass. Why did I do this? Why did I do this dumb thing?" So people get, and then I went to Riptide and played Marth. Something's wrong with me at the majors and super majors. I'm just going stupid. I make these dumb fucking choices, but it's not gonna happen anymore. I'm only gonna play Falcon at these tournaments. But who knows? I might go Roy
I
on
really,
FD.
really no. See, when you go to places like Genesis, you have to tell yourself before you even fly out to California, tell yourself, I'm not gonna fall for it. Something interesting might happen. Something funny might happen. But it is what it is. I just gotta focus on getting the dub because this is a really big tournament. This is not a local to screw around and go, haha, this is really funny. But
Mm-hmm.
then Dent.
That's what
It's
I'm saying.
it's tough.
That's how I got my name out there. Whenever I missed the drop zone knee, said she called me a dumbass, and I've not liked him since. I mean, he's a cool guy, but he called me a dumbass because I went for something cool. I'm like, you wouldn't understand. You just sit there and text trace like you're European wizrobe. You don't know what you're talking about. Calling me stupid? Calling me stupid. I know I'm stupid, but don't call me stupid. That was my taunt. He called me a dumbass. That clip got everywhere for a bit, and I was just like, damn, embarrassment. Embarrassment, but you know what? People know about me. Okay. And then it was just upward from there. That same tournament, I did doubles with Poppy, and we absolutely thrashed Zane and DJ Nintendo. This is before they all got banned, of course, but we absolutely thrashed them. We almost beat S2J and Shroomed.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
we took a game off of SFAT Mike Hayes. So, I mean, there was good things that happened, and then there was complete stupidity that also happened.
But you're the whole time you're still overall, other than the moments of clarity. It's like post nut clarity where you go, "Oh man, why did I do that?"
Yeah.
But basically, you're having a good time overall, and I love hearing how there's still there's a certain amount of this is that it's just so much fun to you, and that you love the game, and that even if the dub might be fumbled, the bag might be fumbled, you're still going for it and still trying
hmm
to make it extra fun. I mean, I think without stereotyping too hard for like, oh, the Falcon player loves the hype. It's just it's fun. Melee's super fun, and I could tell that even playing today, I'm sure on something like an up tilt to kill Dawson to win the set to move on to losers semis must have been just like, yeah, I got you with up tilt. I didn't. It wasn't it. I've never seen a Falcon win a set against a Puff with up tilt, dude. Are you kidding me?
I did that. I have, whenever I play Melee, I have these like, either I have flashbacks to things that I've seen in the moment, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this, or someone's voice is in my head telling me up tilt. That voice in my head to up tilt was Mech. He was sitting there going, up tilt salt, hit him with the up tilt, it'll kill him. And I was like, oh, it killed.
Oh.
Well, when was that? I have these like it's that's why I say like I have weird thoughts in my head when I play because it's either I'm calling someone stupid in my head. I literally do that when someone fucks up. I call them stupid, or there's someone in my head telling me to do something, or there's a flashback to a Nun lucky set where Nun did like this weird random shit and then works. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that too. Or I get a grab. I'm like, oh yeah, every time I get a grab or every time Wiz or B gets a grab, he just kind of like does this shit and then it helps him focus. I'm like, okay, let me do that too. And then I take chase the dev and same thing whenever I play other characters. Pikachu, I have flashbacks to Axe and Tyler Swift. I'm like, oh yeah, you could do this with Pikachu. Same with Marth. I'm like, Zane, oh yeah, I've seen him do this. Let me do that. It's weird. I'm a very weird player. Like people, I had a friend. What's up, Dad? What? Do you give me another rib?
Yeah, give me a plate. I need the bone for the dogs.
Okay, I'll bring it up later. Gave me another rib,
Let's go.
but I don't even know what rib this is, but it's fresh. I'm gonna eat it. What is it called?
You are a different kind of player. People tell you you're a different kind of player
Oh, I had someone in my scene who didn't like me because they thought I was actually just stupid. They didn't understand why I was winning. Like,
because
like,
you're operating on a different wavelength than other people, and that's okay. Salt.
yes, it's a-okay. There's nothing wrong with being different because some people, I've been told I should stick to one character. I've been told I should study my sets. I've been told so many things, but my method works, and my method is flashbacks, hearing voices, and calling people stupid.
Oh, and
That's
also
what,
grid theory.
grid theory, big thing. That's a big thing.
So
Just
you
have
win.
my
You win versus Dawson. Now you have to play Ben, and this is in losers. So I feel like Ben is the kind of person that plays differently in winners compared to losers. Am I right?
I've only ever really played him in losers,
Okay. So
but he's
maybe
very interesting. He's very, very interesting. His chic, like, there's also another thing with this game where, like, Falcon feels like, how do I put it? Falco, he feels like a pen, like a pen, like an actual pen. Falcon, he feels like a Crayola marker, and Fox is like a dot, just a dot, and Puff is like just like a little squishy ball. And Ben plays Sheik. Sheik is like a weird feather, but he plays Sheik like a bunch of feathers. He's very interesting. So if you're saying he plays different, he probably does, but like I like his Sheik. It's very like it's kind of like this. If see, I can't like describe it properly, but Sheik is like his Sheik is like this. Other Sheiks are kind of like this. His is like this. His is
Okay,
like very
that
it's
I
like free.
understand. That I understand.
It's
Yes.
like he's a free spirit. Like he enjoys playing Sheik. Like he's trying to have fun. I love his Sheik, honestly. He's him, Pluck, Crudo, Prof. Those are my favorite Sheiks. They all play like this. They all play like a feather that just wants to fly. Other Sheiks kind of like they're kind of like heavy. They're like stuck on the quill of a 1700s poet writer. Best way I could describe it.
And after you win against Ben, then you move on to the run back. What you've been waiting for a couple of sets. You have your eye on bracket. You go, I know who's in losers finals. Now that I've beaten Ben, I get to have my rematch against Kem, who sent you to losers in the first place for this particular bracket. And when the set started, it was Kem who won the first game, as I recall, or at the very least got off to a hotter start first, from what I could tell. And I'm thinking to myself, how does Salt respond here? Because I haven't watched you specifically, like for an entire bracket run. I watched a little bit of you here and there at different tournaments, either through the perspective of the mainstream or through one of the other people who were co-streaming, like Hungrybox Mango, that kind of thing. But this was like the first time I'm watching you a lot more closely, and I'm thinking, okay, how to respond to this, because when you lose to someone in winners and then you start losing to them again in losers, there's just so many reasons why you would just say ugh and spiral, right? But then you respond and you take the set 3-1 convincingly. Those last two games, you're moving faster and you're like winning neutral so much more, and you're making the most out of your punches for the most part. You're in other words, you're playing almost completely differently from the first couple of games. Is what I'm getting at.
No, I lost to him 3-1. I think I beat him 3-0. I
So
went in the
sorry,
losers.
I'm
Yeah.
going off of the bracket thingy. You're right. It is 3-0. I was
Mhm.
looking at the Ben set still. 3-0. My bad.
Oh, you're good. I'm against Kim. I just knew. I knew. I didn't play how I should have played in the winner set. So whenever I got back to him and knowing that I just completely thrashed two demons, there was him next. I wasn't worried. I know I went down, but I was just like, even if I lose this game, I know I'll be okay. Like I'll be fine. I'm playing good. I know what Kemp doesn't know right now, and I'm gonna just exploit the ever living shit out of him, and that's what I did. Felt really good. I made a couple of adjustments in our set, um, and it worked out really well, really really well. So
Which
if
no, sorry, go ahead.
if I was just gonna say like even it doesn't matter who I'm playing against. I don't ever go in with the losing attitude, and there's a punishment for that with my coach. He said if I started set off talking about, oh, I'm gonna lose or this, I have to do 1,000 weight dashes. So, and I can't ever just sit there and say I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, gum. That is, I mean, short of making you watch one of your sets back, that's got to be like some of the worst punishment you could ever be given.
It's like the One Punch Man thing: 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 setups, and a 1 mile run every single day.
There's
That's
just
what I'm
no
doing
way
with my
that's true.
But yeah, I went into that set. I didn't. I was like, I'm losing this first stock, but I'm not gonna sit here and think I'm gonna lose. I mean, have you watched my set against Bobby? I went down 2-0, and I was like, I'm not gonna just fucking get 3-0'd. I'm just gonna come back and win, and then I won.
On FD twice. It
Yeah.
reminded me of a certain set that is now immortalized as one of the best grand final sets of all time, where a certain Mango goes down 2-0 against a certain Zane and then beats Zane on FD 2 times in a row, also to reset the bracket. I was getting even if it's two different players, okay, you're not Zane and not Mango, and it's slightly different than Smash Summit 11. But I'm thinking to myself, if Bobby's taking Salt to Final Destination, then it's a counter pick. So let's see how this goes. And you win the first FD game pretty convincingly, and then for the second FD game, it's pretty close. Last stock, that kind of thing, and just finishing it out. And you pop off a little bit, but then like the people in the call that were with you on stream were saying after Grand Finals was completely over, you didn't really say much or anything in between the end of set 1 of Grands going into set 2 of Grands. But I thought to myself, after seeing you win 2 games on FD and how you were acting afterwards, I thought there's no way Salt's losing this second set. There's no way. So thank you for proving me right, or on my guess or instinct or however you want to phrase that. But I thought there's a chance, of course, maybe you just reset, Bobby Big Balls resets and wins the second set. Maybe that happens, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Salt's going to take this.
The thing about the mental part of the game, which is why I want to play against people's feelings, is that like there's been 2 occasions where I reset in Grands and then won, which was TMT 69 and TMT, and yep, I know. That's why I'm glad I won that one too. I noticed that. I was like, oh shit, 69. But I was 69, and then I won 72. And in both times, I went through a long losers bracket, and then I made it up to Grands, game 5, and then just a thrashing the next set. The thing is that most people, whenever they are in Grands and they're in the winner side, they're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I'm hot shit. Ain't nobody can touch me. Oh, Salt lost that early. Wow. He's not going to be able to do shit. Oh shit, he beat Dawson. Oh shit, he beat Ben. Oh shit, he just... Okay. Alright. Let's play. Oh, I'm up 2-0 on him. Oh, this is a piece of cake. Oh, I lost game 1. Oh shit. Okay, I'll just FD. Oh god, I'm getting thrashed. Okay, FD again. Oh, I lost. Then you go into set 2 and you're pissed off and you're confused and your mental's shaking, and I'm just sitting there staring at my screen silently clocked in. Not saying a single word, really. A lot of people crumble. A big part of this game is a mental game. If you're not in a good state of mind, you're not going to play right. And that's what happened with Bobby. And plus, he hates playing against Falcons. So I could just imagine. He wasn't streaming, so I could just imagine what he was saying after he lost the first set. He's playing, oh, God, dude. Fucking Falcons sitting there double knee. Oh, my God. Such a stupid character. Falco's so bad. Sitting there saying that. I'm not saying a word. And the reason why I popped off is because I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win. And after the first game, when I lost it, I had no worries. That's just Battlefield, and that's just... I think Bobby was just taking out his anger on me of losing. I think he was... Because he goes through these 2 modes of, I'm going to sit there and laser you, or I'm going to just press as many buttons as completely possible. And he was pressing so many buttons, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I almost came back. And I knew when I did that, I was like, I'm just going to win this set. There's no reason why I shouldn't. I am playing good. I'm focused, dialed in. I'm listening to Bramble Blast on Project M. It's a beast-ass song. And I'm just going to win. Like, I don't... mental game. I'm telling you, it's a big thing.
Fueled by Hot Pockets.
Pepperoni pizza, 2 of them. I'm telling you.
Amazing tournament performance going into Genesis. So you're feeling pretty good about the event. It's going to be at least the top 3, if not the biggest tournament of the year, because it feels like everybody's going. And honestly, even getting top 64 at this event is going to feel like a massive achievement. But I guess I should start with, what are your expectations for the event? Or do you not try to say to yourself, I need to get to this or I'm not happy? Because this is also filled with the thought of, you're there in the moment, and who cares about all the premeditation stuff? A new thought just comes to you. The voice comes to you and says, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to reverse back air. We're going to helmet spike on FD. That's what we're going to do right now. So when you have the, like, what are you trying to think about now in advance of Genesis after winning a nice bracket here? It feels great, but then there's a really, really, really big upscale in the difficulty for a bracket like Genesis 8.
How I've gone about it is, well, for one, I set my expectations or my want really high. So I've been telling myself and honest to God, and I'm not even saying that there's no cap. There's a world where I make top 8. I know there's a world that I make top 8 at Genesis. And that sounds crazy. It sounds blasphemous, circanius, sounds malarkey, stupidity. But there is a world that I can make top 8.
Hype.
I can feel it.
Super hype.
If I got off top 8, oh my God. Oh my God. That's all I gotta say. But I will be happy with top 16, top 24, top 32. I just don't want to be in I don't want to like make 65th or 49th. I want to progress forward. And like I was looking at my bracket, and if I beat Slug, which is an icy, so I have to get past JJM first, which I know is a good icy. If I get past JJM, I have to play against Slug. If I beat Slug, I haven't played him in over a year, but last time we played, he absolutely thrashed me. But I'm different now, so I have more confidence in my play. If I do end up beating Slug, I play against SFAT, and I've beaten SFAT before. And if I'm beating Slug, I'm definitely feeling good. And if I played, because I'm going to give myself at least 4 hours to prep. Like, I'm going to sit there. I think my pools start at 6 o'clock in California time. I'm going to start at 2, and I will play from 2 to 5:30, 5:45, and make sure my fingers are working and that I'm just ready to go. And if I do beat Slug, I'm going to feel really good. And if feeling good means I could maybe beat SFAT again. If I beat SFAT, then I have to play against Cody. And I mean, I beat Cody once, but I don't know. Again, that was tough. But if I do beat Cody, then I think that's top 8 or right outside of it. But if I do lose to Slug, then I go down the projected bracket where I play against Mount Money, who I have no fear about. I mean, Roy. I have no fear about him. Then there's the Super, who I have not lost to ever. I think, but we've only played a couple of times. I think we're like 2-0 or 3-0. Me. And then after that, it's none. And I have been playing so much of the Falcon matchup that I, honest to God, feel like I have a really good chance of beating none. If for whatever reason I get past the Canadian Demon, I gotta play Johnny. And I played him, what was it, last week? What tournament did I play him? And I played him Gigaschwab. That's what I played him in.
Mm-hmm.
And felt extremely doable. I just had to hit my reads, hit my edge guards, and I win. And then after him, that's where I think. Who's after him? I think it's my run ends because I play Plub. That's what it is. I lose. Auto lose. Unless for some, I mean, not even Wizro he makes Wizro look like.
I wasn't talking about the Falcon. I'm just being the worst influence right now. If my Falcon can't beat Plup, and I've already made it this far, I've beaten so many people to make it to this point. So theoretically, I should go Falcon, but I mean,
Fox sounds real nice. Maybe I'll chain grab him with Sheik.
What you got to do, oh my gosh, what you got to do is tell yourself the only way to make this as hype as possible is to actually beat Plup with Falcon. If I beat him with another character, sure, it'll be amazing, and I'll go farther towards top 8, and that'll be awesome, but it would be the most supreme to actually beat him with Falcon, because Wizrobe, nuh-uh. Johnny, nuh-uh. None, nuh-uh. Gatsu, nuh-uh. I mean, any Falcon in the world, it seems like Pluff just can walk up and down the park, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-0, 3-0, and so on. That's what it feels like to me as a spectator.
whenever I saw him play against Wizro at Smash Summit, I had faith in Wizzy. I was sitting there cheering on Wizzy, and then I just see him get 4 stock and then 3 stock, and I'm just sitting there like, he's cheating. What is cheating? There's no, that's Wizrobe. You can't do that to him. You can't do that to the best Falcon in the world. But he's just doing it. Like it's Plup and then it's Crudo. Crudo does the exact same thing. Crudo is like bootleg Plup. It's not even funny. That man's a he's a demon. I'm gonna beat him one day, but Jesus Christ, he grinds my gears because he's just so good against Falcon. He's just bootleg Plup, and it's amazing.
Well,
He's
then
amazing.
that's what you got to do. Warm up against Crudo. And then you can play against Plub.
So smart. Why don't I think of that?
Well, Crudo, I assume, is going to Genesis like every other player in the world. So here's hoping. All right. Well, hopefully you'll make it super far in bracket, but you have other fish to fry in the Melee world. This is where we talk about you going for the voting process of Summit 13. Salt, you're putting yourself in the running. Is that correct?
Yes. I do hope I get a qualifying spot, but like that world is like, you ever watch Infinity War where they're like, oh, so how, so what's the chances of us
14
actually
million.
beating Thanos? Yeah, 1 in 14. This is shit. I don't know if it's gonna happen. That's what I felt about Cody. It was a 1 in 14 million chance to me, but I mean, like I said, there's a possibility for that, and I would hope I get a qualifying spot. But if not, I would hope that my run is good, and so that the people will have more faith in me to be like, you know what, I'll put my voting towards him. Because like at the end of the day, it comes to, well, what does the public think of this player, or how many people are backing him? And it's a big convoluted process, but at the end of it, you want to have people on your side to be like, yeah, you know what, I want to see him at Summit. I want to see him against Mango, Zane, IBDW again, Plup, Wizrobe, Pipsqueak, people who are gonna qualify probably like SFAT, Moki, stuff like that. And I just hope I do get like I'm like you don't know how bad I want to go. I really like I would sell my car. I'd kill somebody to go to Summit.
Hell
To
of
for
Assault? Jeez.
like I compared it. If you read my opt-in message, I compared it to UEFA Champions League. I don't know if you watch soccer, but UEFA Champions League is an invitational for the tops, like it's like either the top one or top two teams in each division in Europe. So you have England, Premier League, you have La Liga in Spain, the Bundesliga in Germany, Ligue 1 in France, Serie A in Italy, or Calcio A now. So they get all those teams from those main, and then they get them from around other, countries in Europe. And they go into a bracket where there's 32 teams, and there's, I think, eight, or maybe I'm thinking World Cup, but I think it's 32 teams or 16 teams, and they're all put into pools, and they're seeded. And the top two seeds of those pools, you usually always get out. There might be an outlier where some underdog team comes and just destroys the competition, and now they're in the bracket. And then goes from there. It's only a single elimination, which kind of sucks. But regardless, I think they play like 2 or 3 games, or they play 2 games, and then it's off of the goal differential. That's a lot of detail, but essentially, Summit is like, to me, UEFA Champions League, and I wanted to be a pro soccer player. I was tasting it. I could taste. It was on the tip of my tongue. I was almost there, and then I got 3 hamstring injuries on both of my legs each. So I pulled my hammy on my right leg.
Gosh.
It heals up. I hurt it again. It heals up. Then I hurt my other one, and then it heals up. And then I hurt my left one again, and it heals up. Then I hurt my right one. Then it heals up and hurt my left one. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much for me.
Yeah.
So I was on my way to go to Italy. I'd be in Italy right now, not playing Smash, probably playing in the European scene. But I was going to a program called SMI where you basically get put onto a team, and you get showcased to every team in Italy, from the professional, semi-professional, and the amateur leagues. And you go there. If you do well, you might get signed. There have been people who go there and do get signed and start playing professional in Italy. They start there. That's where they start their careers. And you also graduate with a coaching license, so you can coach. It's literally a UEFA coaching license. So if for whatever reason I became a goat of soccer, I could just use that license and coach a team like Barcelona. So that was my path, but it deviated because of my hamstring. So now I'm doing this, and I put so much time into this and so much effort. Like I'm playing 8 hours a day, every day. There's not there might be a couple like a day or two where I don't play, but then I make up for it by playing 12 hours the next day. I play this too much. I play this game way too much, and I have a lot of passion for it. And so going to Summit is like, it's just that right there is the top of the mountain. I get there and I'm eating with the big fish, or I'm with the big fish now. Now I want to see what I can really do up there. Can I take a set? Can I take a game? Can I go far? Nobody knows. But I want to just be able to experience that and be there. And then it would just be a dream come true, honestly. Is really what it comes down to.
And I want you to tell someone about the squishy ball Jigglypuff. This is why Hungrybox is the Mafia during Mafia nights. That too. Stuff like that.
See, I feel like I'm telling you, I look at this game in such a weird way where characters feel a certain way. They all do. I don't know if do you experience that where you play a character and you're like, my character feels like a bottle of water.
No, I do look at the game slightly more analytically. So when I play, I usually play as Falco. That's who I play in bracket, especially. And I think to myself, this character feels like he gives me the most opportunity for controlling the pace of the match, because lasers from Falco obviously are just your get out of jail free card. Your, hey, if I hit the other person, they kind of have to hold still for half a second, that kind of thing.
So
So
you want to control people.
I mean, I want to
In the
control their character in the game.
Yeah.
So I look at it more of like, if I'm playing Falco in particular, I'm looking at the character, not so much the person. I'm saying, what can the character do? They could do whatever they want, but it's almost of like, does the character want to do, and not so much what does the person want to do. It's kind of weird for me.
It, if you wanna take a trip down my head too, I played other characters so that I can know what they want to do or what they can do, as
That's
opposed to
true.
trying to sit there and guess. So like whenever I was playing Ices against Falcos, whenever I would play friendlies against Falcons, I played Falco. So I could sit there and be like, okay, this is what I can do with Falco. This is what I'm looking for. They're more than likely looking for this exact same thing. So when the next time I play in a set against a Falco, I'll play Falcon and try to avoid that or stop them from doing what they want to do. So yeah, it's this game's interesting. I view it like it's art. You just make art, and every character has their own beautiful piece of art. Unless you're a puff backering in the air for no reason, that ain't no. That's
That
not
ain't
it.
right.
That's not making art. That's like that's abstract art where they're just getting a piece and they're just doing this. You know what I mean? They're just throwing something at it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's art, man. That's right there, man." But playing Falco in such a creative way, like Bobby plays his punish game at least is very, very, very creative, and I think he makes beautiful art with the character. Me, like on the Falcon side, I think none makes beautiful art. You know, um, Mango makes beautiful art. Zane makes fucking phenomenal art. Him and Forrest. There's an And Friends Volume 2 coming out. You got to see Forrest's part. Shout outs to Justice.
Ooh.
But oh my god, Forrest is like actually the sick. I don't know how his brain works. It's just so different, and the way that he combos with Marth is absolutely phenomenal, and his art is just so pretty. Watching him play Marth is just like it's a treat. It's a treat. It's really a treat. So like, yeah, I just yeah. So I mean, you're looking at it from an analytical point of view. I'm looking at it at an artistic point of view and a person point of view. which I think separates like you're more on the side of like M2K, and I would be on the side of Mango in a
See,
way.
what's amazing about you is that you have the beauty of an East Coast grinder, but also West Coast thinker. I don't know. You have like this idea of I want to play a lot of Melee, and I'll put my pride on the line frequently by going to all these online tournaments and playing in bracket, while also saying I'm not gonna worry about the percents. My character does a thing to you, and your character reacts that way. I kind of know what to do next now. It's all good. Like that is a special combination, and I'm excited about the possibility of you going to Summit 13 because not only do I think you have a great chance of doing well there because you get to play against all these great players, you also get a chance to show off more of you to the world because obviously twitch.tv/saltssbm is where you can go and watch this man's kick some ass in Melee, but also to all the people who watch BTS because yeah, of course, a lot of people be watching BTS during summits. So
You'll hear me talk. I'm gonna ask if I do go. I'm gonna ask some players if they think their character is like an object in real life. I'm gonna ask them, and I feel like Zane might not say it, but I feel like Mango might. Mango might sit there and be like, "Yeah, dude, Falco is like." He's like a crayon to me. He just feels cool. Like he just feels like a crayon. I don't know why. And like Fox, I like Fox. Feels like a piece of chalk at this tournament. Who knows? I do hope I get it. Like I'm praying. I'm like manifest. I'm trying to manifest it. Honestly.
manifest it. Yes, I mean this is going to be just a small piece of the puzzle to put it out there to the world. This is a great place to talk about things how you feel. Maybe it's not a great place to do super promotion because this will not get tons and tons of views, but dadgummit, I feel like you get a chance to tell me and other people how you feel about the game and the way that you think about the game. I really appreciate. I love watching players who feel the same way that you do, especially since because I feel like it is just a smidge more rare. It does remind me of Mango, and I hope Mango says that Falco is a crayon, all that fun stuff. To wrap up here, I want to get to some Patreon questions, and you can answer them as quickly as you like, but that's how we'll wrap up here. Is that okay with you? Sorry, did you nod because I didn't see the screen if you nodded?
I said it's cool. Yeah,
Cool.
you can do that.
These are all from Connor, aka Contra, up in PNW, tournament organizer up there. Shout outs to Connor.
I love
So
Connor.
we got, what's your favorite Rocket League car design? I looked over your Twitter, by the way. You play Rocket League?
Yeah, I play it with Bones and Rascal. I
Gotcha.
don't stream it. I don't try to play. I almost did try to do competitive Rocket League, but that game is just too fucking hard. Too fucking hard for me.
Play Melee.
I,
It's too
I,
hard.
yeah, I think Melee's a harder game, but that game is extreme. It's just like on the same level. I have to put in a lot of time to it.
True.
I don't know if you've ever seen people do that crazy freestyle stuff where to keep the ball up in the air and they're just like this. And the ball's just on top like this. You're like, how the fuck are you doing that? Like how I don't know. But my favorite car design. Wow. I like them all. I think the stupidest is the Scarab, but if I had to pick one to play the rest of my Rocket League days, it would more than likely be the Dominus. I like the Dominus because it reminds me of my old 2006 Dodge Charger.
How do you feel you stack up against the other top Falcons? And we talked about this a little bit here and there, but you can summarize quickly like how you feel your play compares to other Falcons that are at a high level.
Oh, I think they are only like if this is Johnny and Nun Gatsu Wizrobe, I am literally here.
Yes.
That is how I say because I matched with Wizrobe on unranked and I was taking games. It was more I think it was like a 40 to 60. Like I was actually doing well. Same thing against Johnny. When I played with him more than any of the other top five. Well, actually, I don't. Maybe just a little bit more than None. About None and SJ, I played the most with. None would be the hardest because he's just weird, but and he's also the best Falcon diddler on this planet because he's so fucking weird. But I think how I stack up, honest to God, I'm not like I do think I am like right there. Like I'm like I'm licking it. Like I'm tasting it. I could feel myself really close to them. Like I know that there sometime this year, I know I'm going to beat one of them in a set, and it's gonna happen. Like I'm not saying it might happen. I just know it's gonna happen because I'm right there. And with me playing as much as I do and grinding and trying to get better, I'm going to Kobe Bryant way of I am playing way more than you, so I'm going to catch up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to be so far past you that you will never catch up to me, no matter how much you play. If you're like, okay, now I want to start grinding, you know. So I'm right there, is where I think I stack up against him.
Let's go. So who do you
Same
hope
with
to?
Mac.
Okay, you probably hope to play against just about anyone that I could name, but who do you hope to play at Genesis in particular? And we did talk about this some. I think if I had to guess, let me just guess first. See if I can name the exact player that you would want to play the most. I'm too tired. Never mind. I take it back. Go ahead.
Love would make me feel like I know absolutely nothing, but I don't know. I do know I played him for an hour at Riptide for a bit, and that inspired me as well. I remember I was going around telling everybody after I got what was it like the 33rd. I was like, watch, watch, I'm gonna be top 50, and so many, and a lot of people were like, you, and then some people were like, yeah, dude, you could do it. You just gotta work hard and play just Falcon. But Plup would be someone I don't think I would want to play against because I know that's just an auto. I might as well just DQ. He's just gonna thrash me.
Adam,
He's just
please
gonna
play
thrash
it.
me.
Did you
I,
just
I
sign
want to
yourself
play.
up for 1,000 wave dashes? You
Oh
just said you might as well DQ. Holy shit.
no. Never mind. I take that all back. I would love to play Plup. I would love to play him and have him just shit on me. It would be great. It would be. Hey, to be honest, I love getting shitted on in melee, not in real life, in melee,
Right.
because when you get shit on, there are two ways to respond to that. You either sit there and you're like, "What's the point? I just think I'm never gonna," or you can sit there and be like, "All right, there's a lot I gotta work on. Let me put in the work and try to get better." I love getting shit on
In Melee.
in melee.
You have no idea how many times I wanted to say in Melee while you were talking, but I'm trying really hard not to interrupt. So, what majors are you planning on attending this year? You're not planning on attending Pound. You will be going to Genesis. We talked about Genesis. You're planning on going to. Surely you're planning on going to Low Tide City, right? I mean, that's in your backyard, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a 2 hour drive away.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then Battle BC4, which we touched on briefly, but Vancouver. Good for you.
I got invited there. I was really happy about that. Made me feel special.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
So shout outs to Deer for that. All I gotta do is buy my flight. Everything else should be taken care of, I think. But the other ones is I do want to go to Gamo. The thing is, I gotta have the funds for it. Is my problem because I also have an egregious car note that I have to pay $864 a month because I'm an idiot. And when I got my accounting job with $55K a year, I thought one I was gonna stay at that job, and two, I'm an idiot and got a car that's basically equivalent to my salary price. So I'm stupid. Learn my mistake. That's why I say if I have to sell my fucking car, I will because I would rather not pay that per month. Um, but Gamo I want to go to. Double Down I want to go to, but that is up in the air. If I do go, I'm not buying a flight. We're gonna drive there. It's like an 18-hour drive or something.
Come.
But I really want to play Melee in Las Vegas and play more majors and have more results to put me in top 100 or top 50 or top 30, wherever people might think that I should be. Because I've always set these goals of okay, top 50 in my city, top 25, top 20, top 10, top 5. Now I'm number 1. Then it was on to my state where I was ranked top 10, but they haven't had a ranking yet. But I definitely would not be ranked number 10 anymore.
Mm-mm.
Not anymore. And now it is in the world. So I have to go to these tournaments to even be considered to be put on there, regardless. So Double Down is on the rocks. LTC for sure. DreamHack Dallas. Um, I do want to go to CEO. I do want to go to SmashCon, and I feel like I'm missing some other tournaments, but
Oh yeah, there's a
I,
bunch
I'm
more.
I'm honestly really, like I said I wouldn't go to Pound, but I'm really considering it. I'm really considering going to Pound.
Oh damn. Well, if you
Um,
go, I'll be there.
sheesh, get fucked up.
I am looking forward to being shit on in Melee also at Pound, for the record.
See, that's why you're gonna be a good player. You like getting shit on in melee,
In
but
Melee.
you like getting shit on.
In Melee. I think I'm going to be a good player because if I go to enough of these tournaments that my competitive fire will actually be lit, because I am the kind of person, I think analytically, but dude, like I can't go for runs just because. I can't exercise just because. I need something to chase, a frisbee or a ball or something. And then I'm much more motivated to do stuff. And playing Melee by myself is really tough. I'm finally going to have a computer. I have all the parts right over there that has yet to be assembled, but we're going to assemble it on Saturday, and hopefully I can play Slippy online, dadgummit, and be motivated to actually play every now and again, because also wife and kids, time, that's the whole thing. The point is that I want to be motivated to play, and playing by myself on a CRT with this just not the same. So I really want to go to Pound, get messed around, and go, I don't want to feel that than that the next Pound, so I'm just gonna actually do something about it and have the technology to be able to actually do stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then last question here from Connor: do you see yourself campaigning for Summit? Yes, please. For those of you who are still sticking around, you're going to want to go to at Rennie0009 on Twitter. That's at RENNIE0009 on Twitter to follow Salt. Make sure that you can get all the latest and greatest updates for the campaign. There's also a Discord. There's also, of course, the stream on twitch.tv/SaltSSBM. All this will be in the link down below. The links, down below in the description of the podcast and the video, where you can go and find Salt. You can make sure to support him with the votes and the online socials, this and the third, because who better to be up at Summit? I mean, other than a lot of other hopefuls. I mean, I'm also in Dark Janix's corner for Summit. I mean, it would be cool to see Dark Janix go too. But the way that I justify it is Dark Janix is my East Coast guy. You're my Midwest guy. Now I got to find a Cali, like a West Coast guy, West Coast player. You get it. I need to find a West Coast person to root for and support to get to Summit. That's three campaigns. Not a big deal. I could do that. Other than that though, Salt, I want you to do your own shout outs and also tell people where else they can find you if you want to do that. How do you want to close this out tonight?
Well, I mean, the only places to find me is on Twitch and Twitter. I do have an Instagram, but that's my personal Instagram. Same thing with Facebook. Um, but in terms of shout outs to Rascal for being a big brained mother trucker who knows a lot about the game, even though he's not really good at it. He's good, but he's not really good. Shout outs to my best friend Alan. Knowing he's my brother practically at this point. He's the reason why I'm still playing this game. Honest to God. Because I had asked him, was it 8 years ago? I asked him. I was playing. I brought my whole CRT over to my other best friend's house, ex best friend. And we were just playing. And I asked Alan, I was like, dude, you think I could be a professional in this game? Do you think I can go far? And he's like, yeah, man. Look how you're moving, dude. You're pretty good at it. He knows nothing about Melee, but he could just tell. He saw me. He was like, yeah, dude, you could pursue that. So I'm still playing because of that. Shout outs to my mother, who I tell everything about this game. I told her about my Cody win, my TNT runs, and salt mine runs, and she's always so happy and supportive of it. Same thing with my sister, so shout outs to her as well. Shout outs to Crack Shack, because without them, I wouldn't be as good as I am now. Because shit, that Discord is just stacked. I mean, it's Justice, it's Bobby, S5, Mogi, Mono, Faust, Travioli. Who else am I missing?
Swift.
Harry, Swift, Zuppy. I mean, so many people. So many people. B-Bats. So shout outs to them. Um, Shout outs to Emily for giving me framework on what I should be doing as well. She's like a second coach. If you don't know Emily Virus, if you don't know Virus, Cody's girlfriend, we're good friends. Um, she's laid out a lot of framework for what I should do if I want to keep on elevating my game. So shout outs to her as well. Um, Shout outs to Rascal again, because fun fact, my playstyle is also developed being blasted. We used to have these things called Rascal Fest, where it was me, Rascal, Bones, not the MDVA Bones, but he lives in PNW now. Um, Midnight Crazy, also known as Frank, and Mega, also known as Hector, and then Use, also known as Use, which is YC. Also go buy controllers from Use Controllers. Um, we would
That's the
all,
YC. Now I get it.
yeah, Use Controllers. He's my homie. I've known him for like 5 years, 6 years. Uh, he would sometimes smoke, but for the most part, we would just sit down, play Melee, and take an egregious amount of bonk hits. And that's where I honestly honed my craft, was in that little apartment. I miss those days, but they were great when they left. Oh, Poppy as well. Poppy was always also there. We just got fucking blasted, and it was great. And I learned a lot playing Melee under influence. Maybe that's why I'm also a weird player and I have these weird feelings about these other characters because of that. But shout outs to them. Shout outs to my dogs. I love my dogs.
Let's
You know,
go.
they're still alive. They're old as fuck, but they're still alive. Uh, uh, that's about it. I think. Can't think of anyone else to shout out.
Your dad for the ribs? Dad gum.
Oh yeah, shout out for my dad, because he fuels me for these tournaments. Aside from the hot pockets, you know, he didn't make those, but he gave me these 3 ribs and white rice. Gives me a
Oh,
house over my head. You know, good man. So shout outs to him as well.
Salt, thank you so much for joining me on Bottom of the Smash Mountain.
You also, I'm also a fitness trainer, so if anyone wants to get looking good, DM me.